Hello, everybody. Uh, Hopefully, people will be joining us quickly. We just came off of our Facebook live stream that we just produced a show. It'll be up on YouTube after this live stream, and we decided we'd take another opportunity to do some discussion, questions and answers after show questions and answers because you know how we cover something. And tonight's show was actually pretty short. It was only close to an hour. But it was full of information, lots of information about Tulsi Gabbard being connected to Evan Duke III, who is an anti-fascist leader, anti-Antifa, which came out of the skinhead movement that are creating havoc and infiltrating the Democrats and trying to make the Democrats into the Communist Party and the violent party, and to have a presidential candidate linked directly to an Antifa leader. There was just an article published in Laura Lumen's website done by Tony Lindemann and from Tori Says. Tori Says wrote the article.
Lindemann.
Okay. Sorry for butchering your name. Like I said, I'm horrible at names. I need to write them down. I need to practice them and move my lips and that sort of thing. So it's like, Cindy's here with me, and she's able to read the comments. I'm going to be still running the board. The board's behind me.
About that, I don't know if I'll be able to read the comment. I'm trying to find where I'm at here.
Well,
right
you
now.
don't go to Duke 1517, and that link that's on your document.
I'm getting there.
And the comments should be on to the right.
Look. Okay, let me just tell you something. Hey, Colleen, thank you. I caught your Mahmoud Fitil. Dang, check out the big brain on Colleen.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, she's got all the names. She's got all of the names. She knows it all. She knows everything.
Good. We need someone like that.
Yeah. Anyway, Mahmoud Fitil, right? Mahmoud Fitil, the mercenary from Crimea. I call him that because there was a picture in that show that I did. For those of you guys just joining us, here's the picture with Bernie Sanders and Mahmoud Fitil. Bonus content for those of you that bonus content for those of you that were just watching our show. Now we're doing super chat so I can answer questions and interact with my audience. Hey, one of my favorite people in the whole world. Mr. Brad Kilmer's in the house.
Oh, hello, Brad.
Hey, Brad. Every time I say Brad, you say something about Janet from the movie.
Oh, yeah. Rocky Horror Picture Show. Oh, Brad.
Oh,
I'm so glad.
Do a little bit more of it. You have such a pretty voice.
I don't know. I don't.
Come on.
I forgot all the words. Oh, Brad. I'm so glad.
Hey, you have never had Duke sing to you, have you, Brad? Oh, man, you haven't lived until this man has sang in your general direction. It is, oh, my God, it's like warm caramel sauce. He said, damn it, Janet.
Damn it, Janet. Oh, Brad.
Oh, Brad. And you know what? One day, I am going to meet up with Brad, and we're going to sing karaoke until we fall down.
That'd be great.
That's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's just going to happen. It's just going to happen.
Which is normal around here when we do karaoke. It's not just a few songs. It's like, going to do a few songs, and it's like 4, 5, 6 hours later, 4 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. It's like, this is my last one. Or it's like, you have one more song. It's like, only one? I said, better pick a final song, and people are karaoke, I can't say the last word on that. Only one more song? And it's like panic. It's like, I can't just do one. So comes the last set.
Kim, I got to say hi to Kim. And Pebble, how are you doing? They said, nice soundboard, Duke. Oh, my God. So many times people don't get to watch us when we are on live. It's a lot more fun, isn't it? Because then you can interact with other people. You can talk to the other people. And we don't usually get to interact with the audience because we're reading off of a script and we're trying to go boom, boom, boom. Want the show to be nice and smooth. And Emma in California, you are watching us live. Yes. Mm-hmm. You are watching live right now. That's what's happening.
Welcome, definitely.
So that guy, do you remember that Mahmoud Fitil guy? For those of you who do not know what the hell I am talking about, we just did a show on the amazing article written by Tori Maris Lindemann, published in lauraloomer.us. It's an amazing article about Tulsi Gabbard's connections to Antifa leader Evan K. Duke. He is the leader and founder of the Border Support Network, formerly known as the hashtag Asylum Seekers Caravan Support Network. And this article, oh my God, I can't say thank you enough both to Tori for her amazing article and work, but also to Laura for the platform, for the millions of viewers and followers that this is going to be now exposed to. So I'm just like thrilled because this article contains history about Tulsi, but and I think it's going to help a lot of people make a decision, okay, about her as a candidate. I think it's going to be, the end.
Yeah.
The end of the line for Tulsi.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I don't think that a lot of people had put all of those things together all in one spot like they do in this article, like Tori does in this article. But some of the most damning things are the fact that she had Antifa doing her security detail at Standing Rock. Kind of reminds me of Deb Haaland at that Indigenous Peoples March when she had those Red Rum bikers.
Yeah.
That together with Chase Iron Eyes put on the march. Mm-hmm. And also brought us the Nathan Phillips hoax.
Yep.
Wonder where they're at now, don't you?
Oh, definitely.
I mean, I just showed you in a recent show that Chase Iron Eyes, who ran for Congress here in North Dakota, was promoting Antifa.
Yeah.
And promoting going and bashing fascists. And, so I keep waiting for him and Nathan Phillips to pop up somewhere along the southern border.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I predicted that is still going to happen because I think that the whole Nathan Phillips hoax was orchestrated to give a reason for Nathan Phillips to this veteran, quote unquote, I say in quotes because he had a not so very good
military record.
No, he was in the jail for a lot of it.
In the brig.
In the brig 4 times. Mm-hmm. It was not. Was it? Didn't he get a dishonorable or
some sort of not very flattery discharge?
Yeah.
And the thing is that wasn't that happen? And the thing behind that is that they were trying to say that these kids from the Covington school were wearing mega hats and they were hassling people because there was an Indigenous Peoples March happening at the time. And so it was the mega people were being violent towards Native people. And I think this was close to the same time that Jussie Smollett was also staged his being beat up by a mega hat wearer, which none of that stuff was true. Another Hollywood actor who's trying to create this division, and that sort of imagery, that anyone that, supported Trump or is Republican or isn't Democrat is a violent person in this country, and it's like it does such a disservice because it creates confusion. There are violent people in our communities. Antifa, for example, we just watched them in Portland, and they're supposed to be the good guys, and they put themselves as the good guys. Look at all of these terrible mega people are causing so much violence. You see them running down the street, tasing people, pushing them down, punching people in buses, breaking windows, and these are supposed to be the good guys.
Oh, and they promote the fact that they're committing violence as good. They called the guy, that Will von Spronson dude that blew up the vehicles of ICE, and also was trying to blow up the propane tank next to a detention facility, a hero. They called that guy a martyr, Evan Duke the third. Well, he was their friend. Remember, they said that they marched side by side in many a rally and many an event.
Yep.
That guy was a hero. But, I think that is a domestic terrorist behavior.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Mr. Betts, the guy that went off in Ohio shooting people, is also a murderer, Antifa murderer. I think that because, Antifa keeps saying, we don't kill anybody.
Yeah.
White supremacy kills.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real problem. We don't kill anybody. Well, you kind of do.
Yep, exactly.
You kind of do. And is that the bar? Is that the bar now? You have to have a bunch of dead bodies? How about the fact that these people are operating in an international smuggling ring? How about that?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right, Lola. Normal people don't just blow stuff up and shoot people.
Exactly.
Pebble says, watched it from the beginning, clear as day what happened if you were not fed news clips. Right? You really have to watch every piece of information. I did a deep dive uncovering all of the, these were fake staged crimes. Just the Jussie Smollett thing was staged. The Kathleen Bennett thing was staged. The whole Standing Rock thing was staged. The clash at the border with those Antifa activists and the caravan members, that was staged.
Mm-hmm.
The crossing of Maria Mesa, the getting her into the United States immediately and giving her an excuse to get asylum.
Yeah.
All of that was also staged. Emma says, I wish the president would just declare Antifa a terrorist group already. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
We had an interesting conversation with, what was the guy's name? The new guest that Raheem Williams had on The Policy. That's another show on our station.
Bradley.
I
was like, hey, I just remembered a name.
What?
How about that? Yes. No, Bradley Fossen. We have a show on Mondays at it streams between 2 and 3, between 1:30, 3:30, and then it airs on a radio station. It's called The Policy. And Raheem Williams and Jamal Omar are two men of color who are involved in Republicans at the NDSU, the college Republicans, who are very astute people. They do so much research. They're very involved in thinking about what's going on in politics. And Raheem has a Facebook page called The Policy. And they've been doing shows now for about 5 or 6 weeks. And so they come in every Monday to do a show. And sometimes one of them can't come, so they go find someone else to make the show interesting. They do a half-hour show. And they had this Bradley in who was a libertarian. Mm-hmm. And I was working on the soundboard back here, lifting these levers and stuff because I have to actually produce the audio for the show that goes on the radio, after they do their live stream. And I heard Cindy and them talking. And Cindy asked Bradley, do you think Antifa should be categorized as a hate group?
No, as a terrorist
organization. As a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
That's what it was. What do you have to say?
Well, I asked both of them because I always try to give them ideas of things they could talk about, maybe discuss on their show. I'm like, so what's your take on this? What do you think of that? And they had some really strong arguments for why they should not be classified as a terrorist organization, which really surprised me because I think that I believe that something needs to be done about their operations. Look, with the caravans, there was one of these charismatic leaders of the people within the caravan from Honduras who has been in exile living in Mexico for 30 years. His name is Alfonso Guerrero Ulloa.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a terrorist. He's a terrorist. Do you stop being a terrorist? No.
No.
Right? He blew up people and buildings, and they killed political opponents. But his speciality was smuggling weapons, people, and insurgents, terrorist insurgents, in refugee camps. Now, transfer that into caravans. From the very beginning, you could tell this was going to be a giant smuggling operation, an international organized crime operation. The minute I saw his name on it, I was like, oh, dear God. That's what he specializes in.
Mm-hmm.
Smuggling weapons, terrorists, and doing it through refugees. So I know that kind of activity, which is using refugee camps or using refugees in this case in a caravanized form as a weapon against another government. That's to me that's terrorist activity.
Yeah.
Because they're using the caravans to breach the sovereignty of Mexico, to bring in gang members, criminals, diseases, and smuggle children and people, smuggle people. And they're doing the same thing to the United States. They're not just doing it to Mexico. They're doing it to every country that they're going through, right? Of course, the United States has a stronger stance on stopping them. And those organizers, including the lawyers groups that came up with this plan, and believe me, this has been something that they've been brewing for years. This is not something that they just hatched the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe that they tried it in 2014 when they brought in all those unaccompanied minors. That was like the testing ground. They're like, let's see, can we do this?
Mm-hmm.
I think we can. So that was like testing the boundaries of America's immigration laws to see where there was a weak spot. Guess where our weak spot is? Asylum.
Yep.
The provisions that we have for asylum seekers allow people to come into the country and still request asylum, even if you did it in an irregular fashion, which is basically incentivizing people to break our laws, come into our country illegally, and make false claims of asylum, even if they don't have a claim, because we have such a backlog that they know that either way, whether they win or lose their asylum hearing, they're going to get to spend anywhere from 2 to 5 years in this country and will likely get a work permit, a legal work permit during that time, so that they can take care of themselves or their kids. And most of them, of course, are bringing kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're bringing their kids. What were you going to say, Duke?
Well, I was going to go back to the question whether Antifa should be categorized as a terrorist organization. And, look at the stuff they're doing, and it's like, the next thing we're going to see is firebombs and things like that. Stuff has already happened, but these two gentlemen who were on the policy, Cindy asked that question to Bradley and to Raheem. And what was Bradley's response? I thought it was a very thoughtful response. Just made me think a lot. You know?
Both of them basically said that if you can categorize someone as a terrorist, then you can kill them without a trial. You can treat them as a foreign combatant. You can treat them like you're at war with them, and you can just kill them. Like Obama did during his administration, where he sent a drone to kill an American citizen in another country.
Yeah, and also what happened in World War II with the U-boat Germans and Also, I heard them say that one of the things they said that I thought was interesting is that, well, it's hard to define the group Antifa because they don't have centralized leadership. And it's like, who's an Antifa, who isn't? It's like, he was kind of zooming in. It's like, it's difficult to define the group because they have this secret cell like, structure. But, it was just interesting to hear him say that. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I think they have real distinct things like the oatmeal boy, in Tijuana, you can tell he's Antifa. Of course, he wears black all the time, which I do. Doesn't mean I'm Antifa, and he's just got these characteristics, and also it's the people he hangs out with, and is associated with that would lead that. And there's people like Evan K. Duke, who started all these organizations and is, promoting Antifa and just, he probably has it tattooed on his body. And he has a lot of followers too.
Let me read some of the comments here. SPLC and ACLU are going after Arizona Patriots. Dang, Antifa is very dangerous. Thanks, Melissa. Yes, there's a lawsuit against the Arizona Patriots. If I was them, I would be soups careful about Paloma for fraud. I mean, pendeja for Trump. Because here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. If you haven't noticed the pattern of behavior, if you haven't noticed the pattern that has repeated itself over and over and over and over and over again, it is that we just got anonymous donation. Oh, no, it's Pebble.
Oh, Pebble.
I thought it was anonymous because I couldn't see the name, but I just had to click on it. Pebble, thank you. I would be very careful because, when I did my first show explaining why people should be careful around Paloma, it was because I saw her hanging out with Ivan Riebling and I saw her being friendly with Sonia. And I started watching how wherever she went, she was only attacking patriots. She was only attacking Trump supporters. And not only that, folks, every time she got close to someone that had a platform, that had a voice, that was out there working for the conservative values, working with each other, something bad would happen to them, like they would get sued. Something bad would happen to those people. I wouldn't be surprised because I have shown and I have seen that Paloma collects information on her targets. No, she doesn't have any friends. They're called targets. They're called her targets. When she collects that information so that she can blackmail people later with it. She collects information so that she can give it to the people that are suing them, that are hurting them, that want to hurt them. Okay? So, I think that it is incumbent upon her to be very, very careful because I've seen this pattern over and over again. And unfortunately, when I did that first show and I was talking about the video in which Jen from Arizona Patriots was in Mexico with Paloma, she had just had a falling out with Oscar El Blue Ramirez and Anthony. So she glommed on to someone else with a large platform, a large audience, Jen of Arizona Patriots and her group. And they all were down in Playas de Tijuana. I shared that this is a place heavily, heavily patrolled by Border Angels because they own prime real estate, all of those buildings right there across from the border wall in Playas. They have a shelter, an office, and a cafe, right? Mm-hmm. Kind of upscale cafe where they sell crafts made by migrants, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I've never been in there. I went by that location when I was in Tijuana, but I did not go in. But guess what I did notice? I noticed that nobody could get into that shelter. I noticed that of all of the local reporters, all of the people going over there to report, nobody could get in and go find out what was going on at Border Angels headquarters, Border Angels shelter. Nobody could get in there. Paloma was there, and they're like, "You want to come in?"
Yeah, and she went right in.
Boom, she's in. And I thought, whoa, that's a coinkydink. That's a very interesting coinkydink.
Yep.
Lucky girl.
Mm-hmm.
Just walks right in.
You know, I want to say that this Pebble made this $10 donation, and I want to personally thank you for that, because we're a nonprofit organization and we're new at the YouTube stuff. You know, the super chat, and we want to give you the recognition you deserve, and also that it's a great way to help fund our station. Yeah. We're a nonprofit, community-run, non-commercial radio station in the Fargo-Moorhead area. We do YouTube lives and we do Facebook lives and we do radio, and it's all work out some way of making sure your donation is recognized, and once we receive it and put it into our organization, that you get a tax-deductible receipt for it. So thank you very much.
Also, I just want all of you guys to know that Tori, the author of the article that I just shared on my show earlier, was watching the entire show.
Oh, good.
And apparently she was trying to pick a fight with Tori.
Who was?
Paloma Zuniga.
Really?
Pendeja for Trump. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, she was trying to pick it. And I'm like, that lady is
You'll lose big
nuts.
time, yeah.
You want to go and start trashing Laura Loomer and Tori Lindemann?
Yeah.
Are you cray-cray?
Yeah, and it's, that's one of the things is that it's confusing. It's like when someone
showing her true colors, Duke.
When someone professes to be a Trump supporter and a true conservative and attacks other people who are moderate and
only conservatives,
and moderate Republicans and people on it reminds me of the Democrats in their their debates, and so it's confusing because I thought, wait a minute. In fact, the woman you had on the show the other night, Mary Tondo,
Mary Tondo,
and she said,
used to be best friends with her.
Yeah, well, and she also said, we don't need to fight with each other. In fact,
we're going to have another show with her.
We need to reason with each other. And she says, I don't care if you're a Democrat. The idea is that we put our ideas on the table and we come to terms and we come to grips with them. And we try to drive things to that where we can agree and where we can do good for the community. And I thought, that's what this stuff should be about. It's not about we're just going to attack those people, try to bring them down.
Oh, I used to be one of the strongest supporters of progressives and Democrats and a lot of these people that came to Standing Rock.
Yeah.
Until I found out what they did to Kathleen Bennett.
Yep.
And I realized that they were all criminals.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started feeling like I needed to expose each and every one of these frauds and phonies. It changed me. It changed my life. I have a past. I feel stupid. I feel stupid because I was duped. And there was always something. I remember I told you, Duke, I said, why does it feel like, working with these progressives is like swimming in oatmeal? Why does it always feel like such a backhanded situation? Why do I always feel like we go nowhere? We're not effective at anything. Now I know why.
Yeah.
Because they put incompetent criminals in the leadership of their organizations at work. Yeah. By the way, guess what? Oh my God, Kim, you are spilling the beans over here. She's spilling. Guess what? They told me that she had before she had that big fallout with Oscar and Anthony, she had been trashing Arizona Patriots Jen.
Oh.
Yeah, she had been trashing her. But this is the typical behavior of this two-faced person. It's what they do, guys. Okay, that's exactly what goes on. This is how you know the MO of these people. And Jen, when she was in Tijuana, had a bounty put on her head. Like, they threatened to kill her.
Yeah.
How many times have you heard of that happen into Paloma?
I haven't heard that at all,
Kelly says, mine's conference in New Jersey venue canceled because they're threatened by Antifa. Their Twitter was taken over and They believed fire would be started with them inside. Holy tamale.
See, that's what I'm telling you. I expect that next because
Oh my
look
God.
at Standing Rock. The
Oh my God,
background
you're right.
and the background and the mayhem and the things that they have been doing. Standing Rock was a training ground for what's going on now. Tested, proven, qualified, money making, putting attention to it, making money, spreading it around, going viral, and do it again and do it again. And so it's like, they tried it on the border in Tijuana. They had people rush, tear gas was flying. They had people and photographers out there catching these shots. A woman with her babies in diapers running and jumping over a trench, and gas and smoke in the background. And it's like that setting is like they're going to do that in the United States at different places. They tried it in Portland. They're going to gear up for other things just exactly like that. And it's that sort of backdrop that they need to create because it's part of the spectacle of what these terrorists in the United States are working on. And they need that. It gets the attention. We have such a short attention span when it comes to news, and the news itself only produces this much news. We can control our own schedule at the station. So we can do a 3-hour program without any breaks, and without any commercials, without using up time with other things. Your television news and your for-profit news can't do that because they're funded by all those breaks and the pieces of news, and when we have people doing our radio shows here in this community, I'm not doing the 23 segment because we need to leave 7 minutes open for advertising and stuff like that. It's like, no, you take your 30 minutes. In fact, I have a whole hour's scheduled. You can go up to an hour, but 30-minute program, once a week is fine. If you want to expand to an hour, that's fine. If you want to expand to longer than that, we'll work it out and we'll reschedule our schedule on our station that we can actually provide for that so you can have more content and the continuity in the content. But to have fires and people being burned and that sort of violence and then blame it on, the far right is exactly what they are working towards doing right now, I think.
Oh, and they had Standing Rock martyrs like Vanessa and that girl, what was her name? The one that had her arm?
Sophia
Wilansky. And, God, there's so many names. Oh, Tabitha, thank you so much. Tabitha just donated $10. Muchas gracias, muchacha.
Thank you, Tabitha.
Making me do the happy dance.
Got to do the happy dance.
I'm so excited. Today was a blessed day. Today was a blessed day for a Mexican crossing lines. I am feeling so blessed today because Laura Loomer published Tori's article, and it had the information from my investigation of Antifa, Evan Duke, and Tulsi Gabbard's connections. I am feeling blessed because I know that this is going to drive more people to our page and our past research. I am feeling so blessed that I have the support of local media people like Tori and Red State Radio. Check her out. She's also amazing because we are sharing information like never before. This has been something that I have been working on for the past 3 years. And I'm not going to lie. Here at our little radio station, I felt like it was getting very limited exposure. And I kept thinking, however in the world will information like this reach the president, the administration, the FBI? How can I get this in the right hands of the right people, right? And I don't feel like that's an impossibility anymore. I feel like it could really happen. I really think it could happen, guys. And, oh my God, the information just keeps coming in. I know there's still some people out there that are angry at the fact that I exposed Paloma for fraud. But you need to know more and more information is coming out about her every day. Do you know that it was happening as I was literally starting the super chat? Oh my God. You probably wouldn't believe this, folks, because I look like, fresh faced and bushy-eyed as I sit here. But Duke, could you please confirm how many hours I spent on the phone today?
Yeah, it was rough because I thought, weren't going to do a show today, and then we're like,
No, because I was doing all these interviews.
yeah, because it's, talking to a lot of people, a lot of feedback from every time we do a show. We talk to a lot of people afterwards. We get done pretty late at night too, and then it's like, okay, handling calls, finding out what people are thinking, people bringing in more information. And then I heard Cindy going, oh my God, and going like, I'm like, what? And she wouldn't say anything, and then she's texting stuff and calling people. And it's like, Laura Loomer just published Tori's article. And I thought, ooh, and it's like about Antifa, about Tulsi Gabbard. And it's like, ooh, this is big. It's on a big, huge site. It's well researched, collaboration with information from Cindy and a very astute, radio personality who writes a lot. Did a really good article.
She's a veteran.
Very detailed. And it's just like, okay, we're going on tonight because this needs to be spread on our platform also, and we need other people to spread it around. I just posted a link there in the chat for people so they can actually have access to it.
Tori comes from a military family. She served our country. Thanks for your service, Tori. And she's just a really smart lady. She has a lot of connections to, information. When Tori says stuff, ooh, watch out. I mean, she's good at predicting things way in advance of when they're going to happen because she's got inside information. And let me just say, folks, that this information about Evan Duke, about Antifa, about everything that connected to Standing Rock is something I've been just, banking in a database of my shows on our website for all of these years, just kind of hoping and praying that maybe someday it will be useful. I kept saying, it'll be like the time capsule thing where a reporter from the future will find our shows on the internet and go, oh, I cracked the case.
That's right. Did you see this information? It's been there for a long time.
Yeah.
And actually on our website, at kpppfm.com, we have a lot of information. We have a lot of stuff banked. We've been doing audio podcasts. We started out when we started doing internet radio before we had our station built, before we had the licensing. And actually we applied and we had, it took us like 26 months before we actually had it in place for a license to cover. And it's like, and that was a long time. We didn't want to sit idle, so we got a program that we could do internet radio. And it was 365live.com. And we started producing shows. And I also recorded them and started doing our website. So we had an archive and figured out ways I could store these audio files on the internet on a different site, in case one day our site goes down or something, we still have everything stored someplace else. And so we have a lot of content from a long period of time, for years. And then we did the coverage of Standing Rock, and that stuff's very valuable because we did on-the-ground interviews with people that were there for, 5-6 months, that we spent time going out and talking to people and really getting their candid responses and learn things firsthand compared to what we were seeing in the media. The idea was that we'd shift the media to what was really going on. And boy, we shifted the media into what was really going on, even to the point that the mainstream media didn't even want to touch it. And they never did. They never covered Kathleen Bennett in any significant way, that this woman had been framed by all these leaders, that they were criticizing, but they weren't going to criticize the people from Hollywood, the politicians, all these officials that went out there, people from the UN, people from religious organizations and nonprofits across the country that were involved, that were in on a scam. They wouldn't touch that.
You know something? There is a lot of fighting that I learned from that happened after Standing Rock, okay? Because as I said to you, every time I exposed one of these Standing Rock phonies, people that followed them, that supported them, that saw them as heroes, that invested all this time and energy and love into their live streams and, this was when the live streams just started, folks. They just started.
Yeah.
They attacked us just like a little certain supporter of Paloma has come on our super chat to do right now.
Oh.
But I'm not, guys, let's be kind to her.
Guys,
Let me
guys,
tell you
guys.
why.
Guys.
Don't imitate Paloma. Deborah Romero, thank you from the bottom of my heart so much for your support. Listen, let me tell you, I'm going to educate folks right now. Let's be kind to Julia. You know why? Because, and you can ask people that are on this feed right now. You can ask people like Colleen. You can ask people that have been following me for 3 years. You can ask them how many times people that were attacking me, attacking my work, attacking our station regularly, sending trolls, making memes, putting up hate pages of me, blah, 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 came back later with their tail between their legs after they got scammed. After they got scammed by the very person they were defending. After they were harmed. And they came back to me. They came back to me, the person that they were attacking. You know who you are. I'm not going to embarrass people right now because this is not about embarrassing people, right? Everybody can change. We're meant to grow. We're meant to change. We're meant to learn as human beings. If you're not growing and you're not evolving and you're not maturing in your thinking, then you're stunted. You're wasting your life. Okay? I don't want to be that. I want to reach my highest potential as a human being. So I have the kind of grace and the kind of patience to say to all of those people that came to me, sure, I'll help you out. What have you got?
Mm-hmm.
Terrence Daniels finally defrauded you. Okay, let's expose him. Let's show the world.
Yep.
You know who you are. The people out there that attacked me, and you all know you weren't very kind. Okay, you weren't very kind. I didn't take it the wrong way. I am one of the harshest critics and one of the most effective people at researching and exposing. I'm really effective at it if you've been watching my shows.
Oh, yeah.
And it can be very hurtful. It can feel very destructive if you're on the receiving end and you're one of these frauds that took a shortcut in life, cut in front of the line because you wanted to get famous, because you wanted to get money, and you decided you were going to do it by defrauding America, by defrauding people. It can feel like it's the end of your gravy train. And of course, you're going to direct your anger at me. I get it.
Yeah,
I understand that. I don't blame you.
Yeah, and a lot of times things are so they make it so personal, and it's like, I don't know what happened in my background there, but it's, things are taken personal, and you have to have a real thick skin, it's that, because there's personal attacks, and it's like, we're talking about public actions. We're talking about how you harm many people, how people are in on conspiring to fake out people, hundreds of thousands of millions of people with falseness, and you're calling them on that. And inside, it's true what they're doing, and they start coming after you with these personal attacks, and it's like, that one's supposed to hurt me. Everybody knows about that. It's like the things that we've done in our life are public and open. You just Google our names, you'll see us involved in things for years and years and years. I was a community organizer for, still am, but it's like, nearly 30 years of working with people in this community, helping people start organizations, helping people fight for justice in ways they wanted, working in communities of color, working in housing, issues and neighborhood issues, getting trainings from organizers across the whole country.
You have to understand that the folks that are currently trashing me because I exposed frauds like Paloma are the next victim of Paloma.
Exactly.
Have compassion for them.
Yeah.
I know that they don't know it, but I know what's going to happen to them. Ask any of her victims. Ask Mary Tondo, who used to be your friend, Jacqueline Wagner. Thank you. You guys are making my day. Thank you, Jacqueline. This has been a blessed day for me. A blessed day because finally, I have a platform that has millions of eyes on Laura Loomer's page where people are going to be able to see the research I've done and go and expose all of these frauds and phonies. And that gives me immense satisfaction. They're going to go and see my latest shows. They're going to find out about what's happening in Mexico. And that's why I am a Mexican Crossing Lines. I'm proud of the fact that I speak Spanish. And I know that people need to know what's going on in Mexico. They don't understand it. And the mainstream media here, frankly, does a horrible job.
Definitely.
Oh, they don't just get it wrong. They get it completely wrong. You got to say thank you to all of our donors.
Oh,
Mention them again, Duke. Just do a roll.
I'm impressed. I can't look at the chat, so I don't know what's going on. So it's like, and I just heard Cindy say thank you to Jacqueline Wagner, and to Deborah Romero and Tabitha Wilson, Pebble Medic.
Thank you.
Definitely thank you. Because one of the things we have to do is that sort of support. It's incredible because we're grassroots. We are from the community up. And having support from other community members makes us strong. It makes us accountable to you. It makes us stronger. We can't be co-opted. We did the whole DAPL thing, and it's like we didn't have big corporations coming in trying to offer us money to do our reporting because they didn't want us to report what we were reporting. They were making plenty of money having the faketivists out there and the actors out there, making money for them, and so they had nothing to do with us. They never got no one even approached us for us to go, whoa, we're not going to do that. We didn't even get a chance to turn anyone down because no one ever made those sorts of offers because we're not people who can be bought, and we're not bought. So that sort of support coming towards us is wonderful. It helps make us strong, and thank you for that. And, this sort of interaction I like doing this because it's different than our shows because we can just talk with some people here and there. It's hard to be able to respond to comments.
You look really relaxed because you don't have to do like 50 million things.
I don't have to use the soundboard back here. It's really big, and I have to push all these levers and do all this stuff. I'm usually back like this, trying to manipulate, do that sort of stuff. So it's hard to do, but it's one of those skills that I'm developing and I'm learning all the time. Before we did this radio station, I ran sound for bands, so I had some sound equipment, pro audio sound equipment, so I learned how to run sound and audio, over a number of years and started like working with people who didn't have any money, who got gigs. Sometimes they give $50 and I'd be like, don't pay me, man. You worked hard for that $50, and very seldom when I got paid for something, $25 for something, I was like, wow, I got money. I'm not doing this for money. I'm there to help. But then I had the sound equipment. Then we built a radio station. It's like, dude, this is using sound equipment, but totally different than running sound for a band. This is radio work.
This is a lot more fun.
This is filming work, and I love it. I love being able to do it. I love those skills. I love being able to teach anyone that wants to learn, and I'd love to see someone behind this desk. I don't know if I sat on the show and I didn't have to do anything else except talk, it would be like, wow. And I have trouble talking for, imagine trying to talk for 2 hours. We had Jamal Omar came in with Al Rahim for the policy, and he said, I don't think I can talk for 30 minutes straight. I can do 15. And Cindy's like, well, get a guest. And they can talk, you can banter back and forth. That 30, in fact, they hit 30 minutes. He's like, I'm going longer. And he went almost an hour with that person.
Oh, they could do a lot more. People don't necessarily realize how, quickly time flies, especially when you're talking about something you're passionate about. They can do really good shows. But I hope that we have learned a lesson tonight. I hope you have all learned a lesson tonight because I want you to know I have a thick skin. I have the grace to know that I have been supported and accepted. Do you know that a lot of the media people around here that know me that from North Dakota, I went on their shows. They knew exactly the kind of values and ideas and what I thought. And it was very, very progressive. I mean, I was writing articles. I was working in the media. They all knew, right? I'd been on their shows and stuff talking. They were shocked.
Yeah.
Like, what's his name over at WDAY?
Jay Thomas
Jay
is like, what happened? You've changed. You finally came to our side. What happened, Cindy? Oh, she's finally on our side. You know, before he used to call her the biggest race baiter in town.
Yeah.
And then he got on her show. And he's like, what happened? It was about the caravan because she was talking about information he didn't have.
No.
He was producing news and talk show information from, mainstream media, and Cindy was sending him facts, and he was like, oh, I got to have you on my show.
Oh,
and the thing is that I sat there and listened because I go with Cindy pretty much everywhere she goes. So I'm sitting in the background listening. I thought, I don't see her as any different than she was before. I don't see any difference. I just see her seeing something and dealing with it, reporting on it, and not ignoring it. The thing progressives do, they ignore it.
Yes.
And I've always hesitated being called a Democrat, a progressive, a liberal.
No, I don't like being pigeonholed.
I don't want to have any of those terms because I've met progressives and liberals, and it's like I see when they want to ignore things and they cater to white supremacy more than they think that people actually you can call white supremacists. They just hide it a lot.
Oh,
better.
and Chris and I are friends, and I talk to him a lot. I get advice from him on stuff, and we share, media pieces, and we share our ideas about certain things that we're going to report on, and just to kind of get, bounce things off of each other and things. And he does not allow me to forget.
Yep.
I'll share something in the media in Mexico, and he goes, so Cindy, how come you Mexicans are racist? How come your president in Mexico is racist?
Yeah.
He says he's always pulling that on me because, he wants, to remind me of the kinds of things that I thought and felt back when I was under the spell, back when I didn't realize how, how they create the propaganda and how they pit people against each other and really mount a show, because it's a show. Mm-hmm. It's like a movie set that they had, and this is exactly what's happening right now. So I hope that I can have the kind of patience and grace and understanding that all of my media colleagues have had for me, the people in my community have had for me. Even people in my family and friend circles have had for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm not telling any of my listeners or viewers what to do, but I hope that the lesson is helpful so that you can understand why I deal with people the way I deal with them. Obviously, though, we're not going to let people derail conversations or try to censor our work. That ain't going to happen. Mm-hmm. That's not going to happen.
You can't buy us. You can donate to us and support our work.
Right.
But
you're not going to shut us
buy
down.
us, and you can't shut us down.
Can't shut us down.
Yeah, you know, we're strong. We're good strategists. We've both come from a world where we've done plenty of community work, worked with many institutions, had plenty of training, plenty of education. So we're not going to get fooled. And we learn from our mistakes too. We sit back and go, oh my God, I can't believe I fell into that. I did. Now I have to figure out a way to be accountable to that and not do that again.
Well, and the first thing that you have to do is own it and tell your audience. Also, I disassociated from those people like Chase Iron Eyes. I disassociated from them. I'm like, won't have anything to do with this person anymore. Even they try to come back later and apologize to me, and I'm like, Nope. Sorry, bud. The train has left.
Yeah, the train has left the station.
You're through. I'm through with you. And I will not have anything more to do with those frauds because of what they did. Really? Oh, Joe says, come visit the crappy West Coast. Investigate Antifa. We have lots of extra room here. Yeah. Oh, my God. I was out on the West Coast.
Oh, California.
I was out on the West Coast. I also went to Washington, if you recall.
That's right. That's right.
That lawyer person that tricked me, tried to get me to not share any of my reporting on the people that got arrested. I know why now. Because they were all part of their little group. But a bunch of them were Antifa. I bet, if we go back through and listen to all of those interviews that we had, we could identify more of these activists.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I figured it out. I learned, and I'm going to keep doing it. If you've watched my shows, you know what I can do with a computer and research.
Yep.
And how I can find things and link it together and present it.
Plus, you talk to a lot of people. Talk to a lot of real human beings that have real life experience and information. And you are really good at talking to people and really finding out what's going on and seeing what they want to actually say and whether they're going to go on a public record, going public of what they have, So you spend a lot of time.
I don't abandon people either.
And you don't. And you also work with people and you do things for people and you also make them work. If they want you to do something for them, you're going to help them, but they need to do the work. You don't do it for them.
And here's another thing that I do, okay? What we did on the Kathleen Bennett case was we stuck to it, even though we had everyone and their neighbor attacking us from Standing Rock. We stuck with it until we freed Kathleen Bennett. We never quit. And we showed the results of that.
Yep.
You know what happens when you do that? The public respects you for it. The public saw that we were effective at getting someone exonerated, getting them freed. That woman was facing a 15-year jail sentence. She's free.
For a crime she didn't
commit. And guess what? She's free.
Yep.
When you can show someone the capacity of presenting a case to the public, convincing them that to the degree that the prosecution in the state of North Dakota dropped their case against Kathleen Bennett, dropped all the charges against her, that makes other victims that saw all of these rich, connected con artivists as insurmountable group of agents that they could not win against, that they could not take on. And they think, there's hope for me.
Yep.
There's hope for me as a victim here, because if Cindy could do that, then maybe I can come forward and get justice.
Exactly.
And guess what, folks? As I am sitting here, people have been sending me new information about lots of people.
Oh, yeah.
I think you know. Lots of people. And let me tell you, my next show is going to be explosive. I can't wait to get to work. And to that end, in fact, I think we're going to end our live stream now because
I'm starving to death.
No, well, that too, but also I have a call to make to somebody that needs to be interviewed right away.
Okay.
Right away. This is exciting.
Yep.
It's enough to leave what I'm doing right now and get on it. Okay, folks? So please forgive me. My work never ends.
Yep.
And I want to bring you the latest information ASAP. So I'm going to end the live feed now. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was really nice.
For your support.
Nice talking with people. Thank you for the support. Thank you for joining our second YouTube live. We're going to do more of this. We got to work it in because it becomes a long day. But I think it's worth it to be able to sit and share with people and spend a little time talking and, being a little bit more personal. So thank you very much. Say goodbye. Sweet.
Buenas noches. I'm sorry, I'm over here texting.
Yeah, she's off to work, Okay, well, thank you all. Have a pleasant evening.
Buenas noches. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much. Mwah.